My head is filled with ruins. Most of them are built with you. Now the dust no longer moves. Don't disturb the ghost of you. mm They are empty, they are worn. Tell me what we built this for. On my way to something more. You're that one I can't ignore. mm I'm gonna miss you. I still care. Sometimes I wish we never built this palace, but real love is never a waste of time. Ooh, but real love is never a waste of time. Welcome to another episode of Songs by Soba. So today's topic is going to be the current. So all of my fellow PCVs, Peace Corps volunteers, already know what I'm talking about when I talk about the current. It's one of the things that we're first sort of hit with when we come into Moldova. And it basically is something that I think, so you find this in Moldova and you probably find it in other like Eastern European countries as well as other countries all over the world. And what the current is basically is, say you have a window open in your bathroom and the door is open, and then you have a window open in the kitchen and there's a breeze coming from both the bathroom and the kitchen, and sort of that breeze is meeting or has like a meeting point. I really can't articulate this that well, but basically there's a draft coming from two different places and it's kind of overlapping, and that creates what they call the current. And they believe that the current makes you sick because of course it's cold air, but just this idea that it's sort of meeting, it like meets together. I know that doesn't really sound like it makes sense. My host dad once tried to explain it in this very like scientific way, but I think he was just kind of talking out of his ass a little bit. But anyways, so that's what the current is. And as health educators especially, we try to teach our kids that although, when your body's, if you walk out in the winter and you walk for miles in shorts, your body probably will break down and you're going to get sick, right? Because that's a lot of stress on your body. But we try to tell our kids that just because there's maybe a current or you're exposed to a little bit of cold air, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get sick. It's not going to create like a virus in your body all of a sudden because of like a little bit of cool air. So it's one of those like first sort of cultural, not necessarily cultural difference, because I think there's a lot of people in the United States who have this idea of being cold or where there is a draft that you also would get sick. But it's sort of the first like cultural moment that we have as Peace Corps volunteers. That's kind of funny and cute to us. But obviously, like, we respect our host parents when they tell us that, because that is what they truly believe. So we have to be, sensitive to that as well. But one of the funny stories that a lot of us have, because for Moldovan Peace Corps volunteers, we come in the summer. And so we are in these routiers, they're called, which are basically microbuses, like small buses, going to other villages for our trainings. And during that time, it's probably like 90 degrees. It gets really hot in the summer. And in these buses, the two like front windows where the driver sits, like those can roll down. Typically, they are not rolled down. And then there's only two other windows on the top of the buses that you can pull down or push up to close, or push up to open, pull down to close. So basically, like, say the driver has his window open and then some other person pushed one of those windows up, that will create like a current. So then one of those windows then needs to be closed because someone's afraid that like their child might get sick because of that. When in reality, we're all sweating. Like we're sweating to death. And so we, in the summer when we first got here, we would just be like, please, can someone open a window? Because in the United States, for the most part, again, I'm just generalizing, if you're like in your car on a hot day, you know, people are going to roll down the window, they're going to roll down the window, or they're going to put the AC on. So that was definitely like a difference, and it has, you know, it's funny because they're just sweating in there, and we're just, you know, we really just want a window to be cracked. So that is the current, and actually our volunteers in Moldova currently, our Facebook page is called The Current, because it's just one of our favorite little Moldovan quirks. And what else was I going to say? Also, in general, people here don't typically drink water with ice, which I do think that's just a very like American thing. I think in a lot of other countries they don't do that as well, because fear of drinking cold water, especially with ice, will cause maybe a sore throat. That is what they believe. Not everybody, but especially in the village, at least in my household, that's the idea. And also, like, it's funny though, people in the summer will eat a lot of ice cream, which is of course cold. But I have seen people when they do eat like, you know, not like a bar of ice cream, but when they have like a bowl of it, they might like mix it a lot until it gets like melted, so it's not as cold. Again, the cold, being afraid of the coldness, being cold and getting sick is definitely like a big theme and a big topic. So yeah, that's just like a little tidbit. And yeah, for anyone who's watched any of my videos or liked them or sent comments or wrote a comment, it's mainly just friends and family, but I just want to say thank you, because it's been fun to do this type of little project to keep me motivated and to share little stories. And I have about 14 more videos to make until I leave. So I'm going to try and make them interesting and short and sweet. So I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next week.